Ji-woo stood by the window of the xenobiology lab, watching stars drift by. The Galactic Academy space station rotated slowly, giving students a new view of the universe every hour. In the cold light of distant suns, her small hands looked pale blue. "You're early again," said a warm voice behind her. Ji-woo turned to see Tai-ho, her lab partner and only friend at the academy. He placed his books on the table with a soft thud. "I couldn't sleep," she said. "Too many thoughts." Tai-ho nodded. He understood. They were the only two Korean students in their year, thrown together by chance and kept together by something deeper. Both were far from Earth, surrounded by humans from other countries and beings from other worlds. "Today we study the glowing plants from Rigel 9, Tai-ho said, changing the subject. His eyes lit up when he talked about science. "I read they respond to sound waves." The classroom filled as students from 26 planets took their seats. Humans were the newest species at the academy. The others had been traveling space for thousands of years. They watched humans carefully, not sure if Earth's children belonged among the stars. Professor Do-hyun glided to the front of the room. He looked human, but his kind had left Earth so long ago they had become something else. His skin had a purple tint, and his eyes reflected light like a cat's. "Today we examine life that evolved in darkness," he said, pressing a button. Transparent boxes rose from the tables, each holding a small black plant with blue spots. "These specimens react to different stimuli. Your task is to document these reactions." Ji-woo reached for her tools while Tai-ho opened their shared notebook. "I'll start with sound tests," Tai-ho said, picking up a small device. He held it near the plant and pressed a button, sending out a low tone. The plant trembled. Its blue spots grew brighter. "Look," Ji-woo whispered. "It's responding." Tai-ho leaned closer to see better. The color change might be a defense. He stopped mid-sentence. His hand went to his throat. The tool clattered to the table. "Tai-ho." Ji-woo's voice rose. "What's wrong?" Tai-ho's eyes widened in panic. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Red marks spread across his neck, moving up his face. "Professor," Ji-woo shouted, "something's happening to Tai-ho." The classroom erupted in chaos. Students backed away. Professor Do-hyun rushed over, pressing an emergency button on his wrist. "Get back," he ordered as Tai-ho fell to his knees. "Medical emergency in Xenobiology Lab 7. Ji-woo dropped to the floor beside her friend. His breathing came in short gasps. "Hold on," she begged. "Help is coming." Tai-ho's eyes locked with hers. He seemed to be trying to tell her something, but couldn't speak. Then his gaze shifted, looking past her to the corner of the room. Ji-woo followed his stare. For a moment, just a split second, she thought she saw a tall figure standing there. It wasn't solid like a person, more like a shadow with depth. Its outline kept changing, never settling on one shape. When she blinked, it was gone. Medical robots burst through the door. They pushed Ji-woo aside, surrounding Tai-ho with beeping machines and flashing lights. "Severe allergic reaction," one robot announced in a flat voice. "Beginning emergency procedures." Ji-woo watched, frozen, as they worked on her friend. Minutes passed like hours. The medical team's movements became less urgent. Their voices grew softer. Finally, the head doctor looked up and shook her head. "Time of death, 9:47 Academy Standard Time." The words hit Ji-woo like a physical blow. She staggered backward, bumping into a table. "No," she whispered. "That's not possible. We were just talking." As students were ushered out and the medical team covered Tai-ho with a sheet, Ji-woo felt a cold breeze touch the back of her neck. She turned quickly. In the darkest corner of the lab, the shadowy figure stood watching. This time, when Ji-woo blinked, it remained. And somehow, she knew it had come for Tai-ho. 3 days after Tai-ho's death, Ji-woo couldn't sleep. The academy had held a small memorial service. Few people came. Most students kept their distance from her now, as if death might be catching. At midnight, Ji Woo left her room. The hallways were empty and dim. Emergency lights cast long shadows on the walls. She walked without thinking, her feet taking her to the Academy's arboretum. The arboretum was a large dome filled with plants from hundreds of worlds. During the day, it buzzed with activity. At night, it was forbidden to students. Ji Woo didn't care about rules anymore. She pressed her hand to the door scanner, expecting it to reject her. Instead, it blinked green and slid open. Odd. Inside, the air was warm and damp. Stars shone through the glass ceiling. Plants glowed with soft blue and purple light. The sounds of tiny water streams filled the silence. Ji Woo found a bench near a pool of glowing water and sat down. She and Tae-ho had studied here often. It was their special place. "I don't understand," she whispered to the empty air. "Why did you die? The plants weren't supposed to be dangerous." "They weren't," said a voice behind her. "Not by themselves." Ji Woo jumped to her feet and spun around. There, sitting on the edge of the pool, was the shadowy figure she had glimpsed in the classroom. In the dim light, it looked almost human, tall and thin with dark hair. But when it moved, its edges blurred like smoke. "Who are you?" Ji Woo demanded. Her heart raced, but she stood her ground. "How did you get in here?" The figure tilted its head. "I am everywhere always. You humans have many names for me. Most call me Death." Ji Woo laughed sharply. "Death isn't a person. It's just what happens when life ends." "For most beings, yes." The figure stood, moving with strange grace. "But I prefer to be called Hyun when speaking with you." Ji Woo backed away. "I'm hallucinating. Grief does that to people." "You are not," said Hyun. "Though I understand why you think so. Your species relies so heavily on what you can see and touch." To prove the point, Hyun reached out and touched a nearby flower. It withered instantly, turning from vibrant blue to gray ash. Ji Woo gasped. "How did you do that?" "I am what comes after life," Hyun said simply. "For all things." Ji Woo's scientific mind raced. Either she was having a complete breakdown, or she was talking to something beyond human understanding. Both options were terrifying. "Why are you here?" she asked. "Why can I see you when others can't?" Hyun moved closer. Its face kept shifting, sometimes looking almost Korean like her, sometimes ageless and strange. "You saw me in your friend's final moments," Hyun said. "Most humans look away from death. You looked directly at it. That opened something in you." Tears filled Ji Woo's eyes. "Did you take Tae-ho? Was it his time?" Hyun's expression changed to something like sadness. "No. His thread was cut before its natural end." "What does that mean?" "It means," Hyun said carefully, "that your friend was killed." The words hit Ji Woo like a physical blow. Killed. But it was an accident. A reaction to the plant. The plant was changed, Hyun said, made specifically to harm him. I felt the wrongness as I collected his consciousness. Ji Woo's hands clenched into fists. Who would do that? Why? That I do not know, Hyun admitted. I see the moment of passing, not what leads to it. Ji Woo sank back onto the bench. Her mind spun with questions. If Tae-ho was murdered, she needed to find out why. She needed justice. "Why tell me this?" she asked finally. Hyun moved to stand in front of her. For the first time, Ji Woo noticed that the beam cast no shadow in the dim light. "In all my existence, humans fascinate me most," Hyun said. "Your kind faces death differently than any other species in the cosmos. I have questions about your experience. And I have questions about what happened to Tae-ho," Ji Woo said, an idea forming in her mind. For a moment, they simply looked at each other, the human girl and the cosmic entity, both seeking answers only the other might provide. Ji Woo stared at Hyun, this strange being that called itself death. Her mind raced with new possibilities. If Tae-ho was murdered, she needed to find who did it. and this entity might be her only help. I want to make a deal, Ji Woo said suddenly. Han's form shifted slightly, like smoke in a gentle breeze. Humans often try to bargain with death. It rarely ends well for them. This is different, Ji Woo insisted. You said you have questions about how humans face death. I can help you understand that. She stood up straighter, her voice growing stronger. And in return, you help me find out who killed Tai-ho and why. Hyun was silent for a long moment. Stars shimmered through the Arboretum's glass dome above them, casting strange patterns on the being's shifting form. Why would I need your help to understand humans? Hyun asked finally. I have watched your kind die for thousands of years. Watching isn't the same as understanding, Ji Woo said. You see our deaths, but you don't know what it means to us to live knowing we will die. You don't understand how that shapes everything we do. Hyun moved closer. Though the being had no solid form, Ji Woo felt a cold presence, like standing near an open freezer. And you believe you can teach me this? Ji Woo nodded. I can try. I'm good at explaining things. And in exchange, you want me to help you find your friend's killer. Hyun's voice had no emotion, but Ji Woo sensed curiosity behind the words. What makes you think I can do this? Your death. You must see things others can't. Hyun seemed to consider this. I cannot directly interfere in the lives of the living. There are rules. But you can show me things, can't you? Ji Woo pressed. Give me some way to see what others can't. I just need a chance to find the truth. The lights in the Arboretum dimmed suddenly, then brightened again. Ji Woo wasn't sure if it was the station's systems or something Hyun was doing. What you ask has not been done before, Hyun said finally, to form such a connection with a mortal being. Is that a no? Ji Woo asked, trying to hide her disappointment. It is not a no. Hyun moved around her in a slow circle. It is interesting. You are interesting, Ji Woo of Earth. Before Ji Woo could respond, Hyun reached out one shifting hand and touched her forehead lightly. Cold spread through her body, not painful but intense, like diving into winter water. There, Hyun said, pulling back. It is done. Ji Woo blinked rapidly. The world looked the same, but also different. Around every plant in the Arboretum, she could now see faint glowing threads, like shimmering spider silk. What did you do to me? She whispered. I have given you the ability to see life threads, Hyun explained. Every living thing has one. They show how much life remains. Ji Woo looked down at her own hands. A bright golden thread seemed to flow through them, pulsing with her heartbeat. This will help you, Hyun continued. Those who have taken lives have disturbances in their threads, signs that can be read. Ji Woo spent several minutes just looking around in wonder. The plants had short, simple threads. A small insect that landed nearby had a thread so thin she could barely see it. Our pact is made, Hyun said. You will teach me about humanity's relationship with death. I will give you the means to find justice for your friend. Thank you, Ji Woo said, still distracted by the new world suddenly visible to her. Do not thank me yet, Hyun warned. This connection between us has consequences neither of us may fully understand. Ji Woo finally looked away from the threads to focus on Hyun. What kind of consequences? The barrier between life and death exists for a reason, Hyun said quietly. By seeing across it, even a little, you step into a place few humans have gone. Ji Woo thought of Tai-ho, of his eyes as they closed for the final time. She thought of the murderer walking free somewhere in the academy. I'm not afraid, she said. Han's form shifted again, and for a moment, Ji Woo thought she saw something like a smile. That, said death, is why humans have always fascinated me. The next morning, Ji Woo walked to class with new purpose. Her eyes now saw the world differently. Every student and teacher who passed her had a life thread glowing around them. Most were clear and bright, in different colors, blues, greens, and golds. As she entered the xenobiology lab, her heart beat faster. This was where Taeho had died. She took a deep breath and forced herself to look at Professor Do-hyun, who was setting up today's lesson. What she saw made her stop in her tracks. Unlike everyone else, Professor Do-hyun had not one thread, but three. They twisted around each other like braided rope, sometimes separating, sometimes merging. One was bright blue, one was deep purple, and the third was a dull red that seemed to flicker. Ji-woo. A voice broke her concentration. Are you okay? It was Eun-ji, her dormitory supervisor. Eun-ji was the only other Korean staff member at the academy. She was in her late 20s, with short black hair and kind eyes. Her life thread was a steady green. I'm fine, Ji-woo said quickly. Just thinking about Taeho. Eun-ji's face softened. I understand. I came to check on you. Maybe we can talk after your classes. My office at 4. Jae-woo nodded. She needed allies, and Eun-ji had access to academy systems ordinary students couldn't reach. Throughout class, Ji-woo watched Professor Do-hyun carefully. His strange triple thread bothered her. When he came near her table, the red thread pulsed brighter. Was this the disturbance Hyun had mentioned? After class, Ji-woo waited until the room emptied, then approached the professor. Professor, I had a question about the plant specimen from last week, she said, keeping her voice steady. The one that she couldn't finish. Professor Do-hyun's face showed sympathy, but his threads told a different story. The red one flared hot, while the others seemed to tighten. A tragic accident, he said. Some humans have unexpected reactions to alien biology. But Taeho was tested before entering the academy, Ji-woo said. All students are. He had no allergies. The professor smiled thinly. Sometimes tests miss things. That's why we're investigating thoroughly. Lie. Ji-woo could almost hear Hyun's voice in her mind, though the entity wasn't visible. The red thread pulsed with each word. When will the investigation be complete? She asked. Soon, he said, gathering his materials. Now if you'll excuse me, I have another class. Jae-woo left, her mind racing. At 4 o'clock, she knocked on Eun-ji's office door. Come in, Eun-ji called. The office was small but neat, with plants from Earth in every corner. Ji-woo sat in the offered chair. How are you holding up? Eun-ji asked. I'm not sure Taeho's death was an accident, Ji-woo said directly. No point in small talk. Eun-ji's eyes widened. That's a serious claim. Why do you think that? The plant shouldn't have caused that reaction, and Professor Do-hyun is hiding something. Eun-ji studied her face. You should be careful making accusations. I'm not accusing. I'm investigating, Ji-woo said. Can you access the security recordings from that day, or the lab records? Eun-ji hesitated. That would be against rules. Please, Ji-woo said. Taeho was my only friend here. After a long moment, Eun-ji nodded. Give me a day. But this stays between us. Later that night, Ji-woo sat alone in her room when a cold draft touched her skin. You were watching today, she said without turning around. Hyun's form appeared, sitting at her desk. I am always watching. Professor Do-hyun has 3 threads. What does that mean? Multiple threads are rare, Hyun said. They can indicate a divided being, or one who has taken lives unnaturally. Jae-woo turned to face the entity. You think he killed Taeho. I make no judgments, Hyun said. But your friend's life thread was severed in a way that was not natural. Someone caused it deliberately. Then I'll find proof, Jae-woo said firmly. Hyun's form leaned forward slightly. The more you use this sight I've given you, the more you connect to my realm. Are you prepared for that? Jae-woo thought of Taeho's face in his final moments. I need to know why he died, she said, whatever it costs. Hyun seemed to study her. Humans face death differently than any species I've encountered. Most fear it, but some, Like you, face it with determination. Why? Because life matters, Ji-woo said simply. And so does justice. Hyun's form seemed to nod. Tomorrow, your supervisor will find something important. Be ready. With that, death vanished, leaving Ji-woo alone with her thoughts and the faint glow of her own life thread pulsing in the darkness. The next evening, Ji-woo's tablet buzzed with a message from Eunji. Come now. Found something. Ji-woo hurried through the dim corridors of the academy. Few students were out at this hour. Those who passed her had normal, steady life threads. She had begun to recognize patterns. Younger beings had brighter threads, while older ones had deeper, more stable colors. Eunji was waiting at her office door, looking nervous. Her green life thread flickered with anxiety. I shouldn't be showing you this, Eunji said as she locked the door behind them. I could lose my job. Thank you for helping, Ji-woo said. Taeho would be grateful too. Eunji sat at her desk and pulled up a screen. I checked the lab records first. The plant specimen that killed Taeho was different from the others. Different how? It was modified. Eunji pulled up 2 images side by side. This is the normal plant from Rigel 9. And this is the one at your table. Ji-woo leaned closer. The differences were small but clear. The modified plant had tiny red veins along its stems that the others lacked. But that's not all, Eunji continued. I found communications between Professor Do-hyun and someone called the Voidborn Conclave. Who are they? Ji-woo asked. One of the oldest species in known space. They help run the Galactic Federation. Eunji pulled up another file. This message was sent the day before Taeho died. The message was in a strange language, but had been translated to standard academy text. Sub-GCT, Human ANOMALY Research. Tarji Sheo is unusual potential. Concio is in these patterns. XCED safety parameters. Recommend a membidiation and puro togoal. Conclave, reparis and TTIVs, will ARIV within 30 CYCLEs, to ACES other sub-GCTs. Ji-woo read it twice. This is about Taeho. What does it mean? Eunji looked troubled. I'm not sure, but I found more. She pulled up another file. This is from Taeho's private research. He wasn't just studying regular xenobiology. He was researching consciousness across species. The screen showed brain scan comparisons between humans and other intelligent species. Taeho had highlighted strange patterns in the human scans that didn't appear in any others. He found something, Ji-woo whispered. Something important enough to get him killed. As if summoned by those words, the air in the office grew cold. Ji-woo wasn't surprised when Hyun appeared in the corner, visible only to her. Ask about what happens after death, Hyun said quietly. Ji-woo looked at Eunji. Did Taeho ever talk about what happens to consciousness after death? Eunji's eyes widened. How did you know? That was his main research question. He believed human consciousness might be different from other species after death. Hyun nodded. Now you begin to understand. Different how? Ji-woo asked, ignoring Hyun. Most species' consciousness patterns fade completely at death, Eunji explained. Taeho believed human patterns might persist somehow. The pieces suddenly clicked together in Ji-woo's mind. That's why they killed him. He was about to prove humans are different. Eunji leaned back in her chair. Ji-woo, do you realize what you're saying? You're accusing the Voidborn Conclave, one of the most powerful groups in the galaxy, of murder. I'm not accusing, Ji-woo said. I'm stating facts. They killed Taeho because he discovered something they want to keep secret. She pointed at the message. And they're coming for other humans too. You need more proof, Eunji said. This isn't enough. Ji-woo thought quickly. Can you get access to Professor Do-hyun's private files? Or track when the Conclave representatives will arrive? Eunji hesitated. I'll try. But we need to be careful. If they find out we know. She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. In the corner, Hyun's form grew more solid. Ji-woo could now see details in the entity's face that hadn't been clear before. They fear what humans become after death, Hyun said. They fear what I have known for eons, that human consciousness does not dissolve like others. It persists. Ji-woo couldn't respond with Hyunji there, but a chill ran down her spine. Was that why Hyun had chosen to connect with her? Because humans were special somehow. Let's meet tomorrow night, Hyunji said, closing the files. I'll see what else I can find. As Ji-woo left the office, Hyun walked beside her, invisible to everyone else. Now you see why I chose you, Death said. Humans are the only species whose consciousness I cannot fully guide after death. You resist the current. You remain yourselves. And that scares them, Ji-woo whispered. It terrifies them, Hyun replied. Immortal consciousness in beings as passionate and unpredictable as humans. The Conclave believes it would upset the balance of the cosmos. Ji-woo thought of Taeho, her brilliant friend, who had stumbled upon a truth so dangerous it had cost him his life. Ji-woo spent the next day watching and waiting. In each class, she studied her teacher's life threads. 3 more professors showed the same strange triple pattern as Do-hyun. Something big was happening at the academy. When night came, Ji-woo headed to Hyunji's office again. The corridors seemed darker than usual. Few students were out. As she approached Hyunji's door, Ji-woo felt a strange pull from the life threads around her. They seemed to bend toward the office, like plants reaching for light. She knocked softly. Come in, Hyunji called. Ji-woo entered to find Hyunji standing by the window, looking out at the stars. Her green life thread was calm now, too calm compared to her anxiety the night before. Did you find anything else? Ji-woo asked. Hyunji turned slowly. Yes. More than I expected. She gestured to her desk screen. Take a look. Ji-woo moved to the desk. On the screen was a list of names, human students at the academy. Taeho's name had a red line through it. Ji-woo's name was at the top, marked with a yellow star. What is this? Ji-woo asked, her throat suddenly dry. A list of humans with unusually strong consciousness patterns, Hyunji said, her voice different now. Flatter, colder. Humans who might discover what your friend found. Ji-woo turned to face Hyunji. For the first time, she really looked at the woman's life thread. The steady green now had a thin purple line running through it, hidden before, but now clearly visible. You're working with them, Ji-woo whispered, with the Conclave. Hyunji smiled sadly. I'm trying to save lives, Ji-woo. The Conclave doesn't want to hurt humans. They just want to contain the threat. By killing us. Ji-woo backed toward the door. Only when necessary. Hyunji picked up a small silver device from her desk. Like your friend, he was going to publish his research. Millions would have known. The panic it would cause. Ji-woo's hand reached for the door panel. You helped kill Taeho. I did what was needed for galactic peace. Hyunji raised the silver device. Now I need to contain you too. You've seen too much. Ji-woo hit the door panel, but nothing happened. Locked. Don't worry, Hyunji said, stepping closer. This won't hurt. It just puts your consciousness into a sleep state. When you wake up, you won't remember any of this. Ji-woo backed against the wall. Why are you helping them? You're human too. Am I? Hyunji's smile changed. Her face seemed to shift slightly, the skin becoming smoother, less natural. I look human. That's my job. I've been watching promising students for decades. The purple line in Hyunji's life thread grew thicker as her human appearance began to fade. Her eyes now reflected light like a cat's, just like Professor Do-hyun's. Humans are dangerous, Ji-woo. Hyunji continued. Your consciousness doesn't fade like other species. It persists, grows stronger after death. Given enough time, human consciousness could overwhelm the balance of the cosmos. Jit-Woo closed her eyes and called silently for Hyun. The room grew suddenly cold. "Hold your breath," Hyun's voice whispered in her ear. Without questioning, Ji-Woo took a deep breath and held it. The air around her turned icy. "What's happening?" Hyun-ji demanded. Her device pointed at Ji-Woo. Ji-Woo felt strange, light, almost floating. Her heart seemed to slow in her chest. "Impossible," Hyun-ji gasped, staring at a monitor on her wrist. "Your life signs are stopping, but you're still standing." Hyun's voice came again. "I have suspended your life thread. You appear dead to their sensors. Move now." Ji-Woo lunged past the confused Hyun-ji and slammed her hand on the emergency panel by the door. Alarms blared as the door slid open. Ji-Woo ran into the corridor. Behind her, Hyun-ji shouted into a communicator. "Subject 17 is escaping. Lockdown Sector 4. Ji-Woo ran faster than she ever had before. Her body felt strange, cold yet energized. The world around her seemed half real, like a dream. "What did you do to me?" she gasped as she ran. Hyun appeared beside her, keeping pace effortlessly. "I pulled your life thread partially into my realm. You exist in both life and death right now. Is that even possible? For humans?" "Yes," Hyun said. "That is what makes your kind unique and dangerous to the old ones." As Ji-Woo turned a corner, she caught a glimpse of herself in a reflective panel. Her body seemed slightly transparent, and her eyes glowed with the same golden light as her life thread. She was changing, becoming something neither fully alive nor dead. And somehow, that felt right. Ji-Woo hid in a small storage room as alarms blared throughout the academy. Her body was slowly returning to normal, but she still felt strange, lighter, more aware of the space around her. She could feel her life thread reconnecting fully to her body. "What happens now?" she whispered to Hyun, who stood beside her. "I can't fight the entire conclave alone." "You are not entirely alone," Hyun said, "but you need more allies among the living." Ji-Woo thought quickly. There are other human students. Maybe some would help. "Choose carefully," Hyun warned. "Not all can be trusted." Ji-Woo recalled two students who had been kind to her after Taeho's death, Min-Soo, a quiet engineering student, and Yuna, who studied alien languages. Neither had the strange threads that marked conclave agents. When the alarms finally stopped, Ji-Woo slipped out and made her way to the student living areas. She knocked softly on Min-Soo's door. The door opened to reveal a tall, thin young man with tired eyes. Min-Soo looked surprised to see her. "Ji-Woo, why are you out during lockdown?" "I need help," she said simply. "Can I come in?" Min-Soo hesitated, then stepped aside. His room was filled with strange devices, some academy standard, others clearly his own design. "What's going on?" he asked. "The emergency system said there was a security breach." "That was me," Ji-Woo admitted. "Min-Soo, do you know what Taeho was researching before he died?" Min-Soo's face grew serious. "Human consciousness patterns. He showed me some of his work." "Did you know he was killed for it?" Min-Soo's eyes widened. "What? No, they said it was an accident." Quickly, Ji-Woo explained everything. The conclave, the conspiracy, Hyun-ji's betrayal. She left out Hyun, not ready to explain her pact with death. "I believe you," Min-Soo said when she finished. "I've been working on something that might support Taeho's theories." He picked up a small device from his desk. "This detects consciousness waves. All species emit them. But human patterns." He pressed a button, and the device lit up with complex patterns. Human patterns are different. They're stronger, more complex, and they don't stop completely, even in deep sleep. Ji-Woo stared at the device. "Can it detect consciousness outside a body?" Min-Soo looked puzzled. "Theoretically, yes. But why would?" A knock at the door interrupted him. They both froze. "It's me, Yuna," called a soft voice. "Min-Su, are you there? Something strange is happening." Jae-woo nodded, and Min-Su opened the door. Yuna, a small woman with intelligent eyes, slipped inside. "Jae-woo, I've been looking for you," she said. "The teachers are searching everywhere. They're saying you attacked Supervisor Eunji." "They're lying," Jae-woo said. "Eunji tried to attack me. She's not human, Yuna. She works for the Conclave." To Jae-woo's surprise, Yuna didn't look shocked. "I know," she said quietly. Both Jae-woo and Min-Su stared at her. "How could you know?" Jae-woo asked. "I study languages, remember? I've been translating Conclave communications for a project." Yuna pulled out her tablet. "Last week, I found messages about containing the human consciousness threat. I didn't understand what it meant until now." In the corner of the room, unseen by the others, Hyun nodded approvingly. "These two have strong threads. They will make good allies." Jae-woo felt hope for the first time since Taho's death. "We need to warn the other humans and expose what the Conclave is doing." "We need proof first," Min-Su said, "and a way to communicate with everyone at once." Yuna's eyes lit up. "The Quantum Communications Hub. It connects to every system in the Academy. If we could access it." "It's heavily guarded," Min-Su pointed out. "But I might know a way in," Yuna said, "through the maintenance tunnels." As they began to plan, Hyun moved to stand beside Jae-woo. "Do you know why I've been drawn to humans throughout history?" the entity asked quietly. Jae-woo glanced at Hyun, careful not to respond aloud with others present. "Because your kind resists me," Hyun continued. "All other species accept death as final. Their consciousness fades into the cosmic current. But humans fight. Your consciousness clings to itself, maintains its shape even as it passes into my realm." Jae-woo understood suddenly why the Conclave feared humans. If consciousness could survive death intact, what else might humans eventually achieve? As Min-Su and Yuna discussed their plan, Jae-woo felt a new determination. This wasn't just about justice for Taho anymore. It was about protecting what made humans unique in the universe, their stubborn refusal to fade away, even in the face of death itself. Night fell on the Academy. 3 human students moved quietly through the maintenance tunnels beneath the main building. Jae-woo led the way, using her ability to see life threads to avoid security patrols. Min-Su followed with his detection device, which he had modified to help mask their presence. Yuna came last, guiding them with a map she had memorized. "The communications hub should be through that door," Yuna whispered, pointing ahead. Jae-woo nodded. In the darkness beside her, Hyun's form shifted and swirled like smoke. "There are 4 guards," Hyun said. 2 are not alive as you understand it." 2 guards aren't human," Jae-woo whispered to the others. "They might have better senses than we think." Min-Su raised an eyebrow. "How do you know that?" "Just trust me," Jae-woo said. She couldn't explain Hyun, not yet. Min-Su activated his device. This should disrupt their sensors for about 5 minutes. After that, we're in trouble. The 3 moved forward. As they reached the door, Min-Su pressed a button. A soft hum filled the air. The guards looked confused, touching their earpieces and blinking rapidly. "Now," Jae-woo said. They rushed past the disoriented guards and into the communications hub. The room was filled with glowing screens and humming equipment. At its center stood a tall crystal pillar, the quantum transmitter that connected to every device in the Academy. "I need 2 minutes to hack in," Min-Su said, plugging his tablet into the main console. "Hurry," Yuna said, watching the door. "They'll figure out something's wrong soon." Jae-woo placed her hand on the crystal pillar. Through her connection with Hyun, she could almost feel the countless communications flowing through it. Voices, data, messages stretching across the galaxy. "I'm in," Min-Su said finally. "What exactly are we sending?" Everything, Jiwoo said. Tahoe's research, the Conclave's messages, the list of targeted humans. The truth. As Min-Soo uploaded the files, the door burst open. Professor Do-hyun stood there, his triple life thread blazing with anger. Behind him was Eun-ji, her human disguise now partially dropped to reveal scaled skin beneath. "Step away from the transmitter," Do-hyun ordered. "You have no idea what you're interfering with." "We know exactly what we're doing," Jiwoo said, standing tall. "You killed my friend because he discovered the truth about human consciousness." Do-hyun's face hardened. "The Conclave has maintained cosmic balance for millions of years. Human consciousness threatens that balance. By not disappearing after death," Jiwoo challenged. "By remaining ourselves. By growing stronger," Eun-ji said. "Human consciousness doesn't just persist after death, it evolves. Given enough time, you could become like gods." Do-hyun pulled out a weapon similar to the one Eun-ji had used earlier. "We contained the threat once. We will do it again." "The upload is complete," Min-Soo whispered to Jiwoo. "Everyone in the academy is receiving it now." Do-hyun aimed his weapon at Jiwoo. "You leave me no choice." In that moment, time seemed to slow. Jiwoo saw the red thread in Do-hyun's triple-patterned pulse with violent intent. She could end this now. Hyun had shown her how to reach out and sever a life thread if needed. An eye for an eye. Justice for Tahoe. But that wasn't what made humans special. "You're wrong about us," Jiwoo said, lowering her hands. "If humans were the threat you fear, I would kill you where you stand. I could, you know." She glanced at Hyun, who nodded slightly. "But we're not monsters. We don't kill out of fear." Do-hyun hesitated, weapon still raised. "Look around you," Yuna said, pointing to the screens that now showed people throughout the academy watching the evidence they had shared. "Everyone knows what you've done. Everyone knows what you fear." The sound of many footsteps approached from the corridor. Federation peacekeepers, called by students and teachers who had seen the truth. Do-hyun's face twisted with rage. He fired his weapon at Jiwoo. But the blast passed through her as if she were made of mist. Hyun had pulled her partly into Death's realm again, making her untouchable. "This is what you fear," Jiwoo said, her voice echoing strangely as she existed between life and death. "Not that we will become monsters, but that we will become more than you can understand." The peacekeepers rushed in, surrounding Do-hyun and Eun-ji. The Conclave agents lowered their weapons, knowing they were defeated. As Jiwoo's body returned fully to the living world, she felt something change in her connection with Hyun. Death wasn't just her ally now. It was part of her, a bridge between worlds that only humans could truly build. And that bridge might be humanity's greatest gift to the universe. 1 month after the events at the communications hub, the academy was a changed place. Federation representatives had arrived to investigate the Conclave's actions. Do-hyun, Eun-ji, and other Conclave agents were removed from their positions. Most importantly, humans were no longer seen as strange newcomers, but as beings with unique gifts. Jiwoo stood in the Arboretum, in the same spot where she had first made her pact with Hyun. Around her, life threads glowed from every plant and small creature. She had grown used to seeing them now. "The Federation Council meets tomorrow," said Min-Soo as he joined her. "They'll decide what happens next." "Will you speak?" asked Yuna, who sat nearby, translating the latest messages from Earth. Jiwoo nodded. They want to hear from the human who sees both sides. That was how they referred to her now, the bridge between life and death. Few knew the full truth about her pact with Hyun, but everyone had seen how she had passed through Do-hyun's weapon blast unharmed. Rumors spread quickly in the academy. "Are you nervous?" Min-Soo asked. "A little," Jiwoo admitted, "but it's important they understand what Tahoe discovered." As night fell and her friends left, Jiwoo remained in the Arboretum. The air grew cold, and Hyun appeared beside her, more solid than ever before. "You've changed," Jiwoo said, studying the entity. "You look more definite." As have you, Hyun replied. Indeed, Ji-woo had noticed her own reflection, sometimes seemed to shimmer, as if she wasn't quite fully in one world anymore. The Federation wants me to explain human consciousness to them, Ji-woo said, but I'm not sure I understand it myself. Hyun moved to face her. Then let me show you the truth. The entity reached out and touched Ji-woo's forehead. The arboretum faded away. Ji-woo found herself floating in a vast space filled with countless lights, some bright, some dim, all moving in patterns like a great cosmic dance. What is this place? She whispered. This is my realm, Hyun said. What comes after life for most beings? Ji-woo saw that the lights were consciousness, the essence of beings who had once lived. Most flowed together, merging into larger patterns. But some lights were different. They remained distinct, maintaining their individual shapes even as they moved through the patterns. They were brighter, more complex. Human consciousness, Ji-woo realized. Yes, Hyun said. When other species die, their consciousness rejoins the cosmic flow. But humans remain themselves. You grow, learn, evolve, even here. Ji-woo saw something else. New lights forming from the patterns where human consciousness touched the flow. New complexities in the cosmic dance. We're changing your realm, she said. You're changing everything, Hyun replied. That is what the conclave feared. Humans don't just persist after death. You transform what death means. The vision faded, and they were back in the arboretum. Ji-woo's mind raced with new understanding. Is Taho there? She asked quietly. In that place. Hyun nodded. His consciousness is strong. He retains who he was, and is becoming more. Tears filled Ji-woo's eyes. Can I speak to him? Not in words, Hyun said. But perhaps someday you will find a way. Your pact with me has changed you, Ji-woo. You exist partially in both realms now. Ji-woo thought about what this meant, not just for her, but for all humans. The conclave was right to be afraid, she said, but not because we're dangerous, because we bring change. Change is what the universe needs, Hyun said. For billions of years, consciousness has followed the same patterns. Now humans offer something new. Ji-woo looked up at the stars visible through the arboretum dome. Will our pact end now? Now that I know the truth. No, Hyun said, with what almost seemed like a smile. It is just beginning. You asked for justice for your friend. I asked to understand humanity. We have both gained more than we expected. Ji-woo felt a new sense of purpose. Tomorrow, she would speak to the Federation Council. She would tell them not to fear human consciousness, but to welcome what it might bring to the universe. What happens next? She asked. I don't know, Hyun admitted. In all my existence, I have never encountered beings like humans. Your kind may forge paths between life and death that no species has walked before. As they stood together under the stars, Ji-woo sensed other presences gathering. Cosmic entities like Hyun, drawn by the strange new dance of human consciousness in the universe. Her first friend had died in class, and in seeking justice, she had discovered humanity's greatest gift, a consciousness that even death could not diminish, but only transform.